How's it going, everybody? This is John Low Fox, and this is my channel where I talk about anime, video games, and cartoons. I'm trying hard not to say cartoons. I might talk a little bit in the stream about it. But anyways, how's it going, everybody? I know it's been a while since I've actually done a stream. You know how it is. A lot of stuff has definitely come up in between last month in November and obviously in Christmas. Nothing like super serious or anything. One of my family members that I live with, she kind of twisted her ankle and stuff, right? So basically, it was a whole thing. So basically, she had to kind of occupy my space while I kind of occupied her space upstairs. So usually I record while I'm downstairs in my space, but since I didn't really have much, to myself, or I'm not used to it, even though I still shot a few videos upstairs, um, you know, I was just like, I don't know if I want to live stream or I was just procrastinating a lot, even though I could probably still get some of that stuff done. But anyways, but I'll tell it again if people are just showing up in the stream. But yeah, I know it's been a while since I've actually streamed, and I know some people have been asking me to do it, and here I am. It is December 26th, 2025. The day after Christmas and all that. Merry Christmas to everybody. I probably should have put that on the community post, but I told people that I know or I usually talk to in DMs and all that stuff. Merry Christmas, but hey, Merry Christmas to my audience and stuff, and thank you for the 800 subscribers and stuff. I finally reached that mark. Hopefully, I can get to 1,000 in the New Year's and all that, or going into the next year and all that. Um, this year has definitely been pretty crazy and stuff, political assassinations and all that. A lot of people just dying left and right and all that. People just so a lot's been going on. And then, you know, recently, other stuff happened. Like, for example, like the guy, I don't remember his name, or I'm not going to really remember his name like that, but the guy that played Martin, if anyone's familiar with like Nesty Classified School Survival Guide, it was an old sitcom that used to come on like Nickelodeon back in the day. So yeah, one of the characters, Martin and stuff, he was like a supporting character and everything. He was known for like talking a lot. He was kind of short. Yeah, but Martin, it seems like that actor and stuff, it just got revealed that he's actually homeless and stuff now, and that like he's doing drugs or whatever, and he's just a hot mess. And the guy that played Cookie and stuff, he's trying to take care of him and make sure that he's all right. And I gotta say, the guy that played as Cookie from Nancy Classified, that guy is really a real one, because I remember like a while back he tried to defend or sort of help out the girl that I know I should be using their actual names, but I'm just using the characters' names that they played as. But he was helping out Mosley's actor from also from the same show, because she got into it because she got canceled for saying something sort of kind of racist or whatever, and he kind of was like, uh, you know, but yeah, it is what it is. And now he's trying to help out the dude that plays as Martin and stuff. And not to mention the guy that also plays as Cook is also a rapper too, so that's kind of interesting. But anyways, but yeah, but it's kind of terrible though about how like some of the how in the industry and stuff, like sometimes they just kick some of their child actors and stuff like that to the curve, like textbook example of all this type of stuff. But yeah, yeah, definitely reminds me of like Peter Pan and stuff, because the actor that played his that voiced Peter Pan and stuff back when the movie came out, he had died a tragic death and stuff due to like alcoholism, because due to alcoholism and all that stuff, mainly because he didn't really have much of a career and stuff because he got a little bit too old. And by old, he was like, what, he hit 30, his early 30s at that. And then they were like, he's gone. He's too old. And then they made a joke about that in Chip and Dale, which that's the first time I heard about it because I didn't know. I was like, oh, that was a funny joke, I guess, in Chip and Dale. And then when I looked up the actual reason, I'm like, oh, that's very, very shitty of you, Disney. Why would you do that? But okay. But yeah, so that happened. Unfortunately, Lamar Wilson, he's a YouTuber and stuff. He had unfortunately lost a battle of mental health and stuff, if you know what I mean. So that's very unfortunate. You know, but yeah, but Lamar Wilson, I wasn't. I'm not gonna pretend like I was always a subscriber of his or anything. But yeah, I've seen him a long time ago though, because if you don't know, I used to follow like Dashy Games, Dashy XP and stuff back in the day. I still do, but I just don't watch Dashy's videos as often because sometimes I don't know. I just don't make time for his gameplay videos. No, I mean, and it's no shade towards Dash or anything, but it's just like, I just do other things with my time, and it's like his videos are like so long winded, and I'm just like, I don't know, but I don't know. But Dashy's always fun though, and it depends on which videos he's making. Like the Mortal Kombat stuff, I always like show up for that. Because Dashy's definitely going to be hilarious on that one. But yeah, he had a friend Lamar Wilson and stuff. He was another YouTuber, very popular YouTuber and stuff. And I remember like him and Dashy did some videos and stuff together. Where I remember they did that black water thing that they were doing, where like it tastes like water, but it's like, oh, they're drinking black water and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was weird. Yeah, like one of those little dye kind of things, kind of like green ketchup. Yeah, that type of stuff. But yeah, unfortunately, like Lamar passed away. I know Dashy was definitely devastated. I mean, anyone would, of course, his family members and friends, of course, and Dashy was definitely one of his friends and stuff. And you just never know how it just ended like that. But yeah, but rest in peace to Lamar though. So Dashy's trying to help out and like be like, all right, well, I'm trying to like help out Lamar's thing, so I'm gonna like, um, handle some of his business or whatever, handle some of his stuff, and then just keep it moving, and just mourn. But yeah, so I hope definitely this year we have more positive stuff going on. Definitely more strives, more improvements, and stuff like that. And hey, even for myself, I got to make some strides and improvements and whatnot. I mean, we all could, but yeah, but it's not like my situation is bad or anything like that. But it's just like, yeah, I got to step up and all that. So that's just the game of life, I guess. But yeah. So pretty much, Christmas has definitely come by. Definitely got some stuff. I wish I could kind of show you, but I'm not sure if my thing will like really my hang on, let's see. Nope. My camera would definitely not be popping up. Oh well. But anyways, but I'll just tell you what I did get though. So basically what I do got is the Condopendium one book for Milestone. That's what I definitely did get. So like you guys are familiar with like Milestone comics and stuff, the whole like Static and all that from the cartoon, and then they got other stuff too like Icon and Rocket or Hardware, Blood Syndicate, all that stuff. They have for Milestone, and I actually got the Condopendium one book for that because I'm interested in looking into these characters' lore and history and all that stuff. You know, just because I thought that would be pretty cool, especially looking into these minority characters. When how I felt when people would be like, "Oh, there's no representation of black characters," or blah blah blah, or LGBT and stuff like that. Oh. But yet in Milestone, which was back in the '90s and stuff, they were really in the heart, in the trenches about all that stuff or whatever, where it really felt authentic. It really felt legit. Like that's why I got it because I want to see like the storytelling and all that stuff. And trust me, from what I've read, and I've definitely at least read definitely some yeah, like at least what 4 issues of Blood Syndicate, 4 issues of Hardware, even though I already have 2 individual floppies already. So it was just 2 I read from this book. Still for Blood Syndicate. Uh, I think it was 2 for Icon and Rocket, and so far 2 for Static, or no, 3 for Static. So that's about what 5. So 13 issues that I've already read of this comic. Yo, Merry Christmas, Merry belated Christmas, Happy belated Christmas, empathetic Black Queen. How you doing tonight? Yep. Hope you're having a good night. I'm just talking about some of my Christmas gifts. Mine was great. Great. But yeah, I was just talking about some of my Christmas gifts that I got, and I was saying that I got the milestone Compendium one book and stuff. I know there's more out there, but I kind of want to like start from the beginning to kind of understand and know these characters and stuff. So I kind of learned some new things about like that I didn't know because I've never read Icon and Rocket before, and I've never read like Blood Syndicate. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I probably did. Like, well, I think I did in a video. But yeah, I started hardware not too long ago and stuff, and I'm like, okay, okay, these are some interesting characters right here. Um, Blood Syndicate, it's basically a gang of like these anti-heroes and stuff. That was, like the Big Bang that created Static and stuff. Well, the Blood Syndicate guys, they were there. They were one of the gangs that was fighting this stuff, and they decided to use their powers to like, stop other gangs and like, stop a war on drugs and all that stuff, etc. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. Um, Wild too, very wild. But yeah, I'm just gonna put that out there. It's a very wild book, but hey, it's gangster. So what do you expect? And then I read some stuff with Static. I've already read some of it before, but it's nice to read it again and stuff. It's Static, so like who am I to go playing? Icon of Rocket was also pretty cool too, and stuff. Um, yeah, yeah, definitely can't wait until I read more. And then what else did I get? Um, my aunt gave me a Boondocks T-shirt, so that's pretty nice. Yep. Never had a Boondocks T-shirt before, but hey, I'll probably wear it. But then I got me some socks, so this is gonna be pretty cool. You know what? Speaking of which, I actually probably needed some socks anyways because I don't have too many socks like that, and I wear like one pair for a week and all that stuff. So I just like all right, after I'm done with this, I switch out and like put on another pair. So this can definitely help out. And these are very soft too, so that's great. I think my mom got me all these shirts and stuff. Um, yeah. And I also got Final Fantasy, a Final Fantasy collection game on the PS4, where it actually has Final Fantasy 1 through 6 and stuff because I've never played Final Fantasy 1 through 6. Hey man, what's going on? What's happening, Speed Sonic Star? Hope you're having a good belated Christmas and all that, and happy holidays. But yeah, nothing much. Just talking about some of my Christmas gifts and all that. Um, but as I was saying though, yeah, I just got like Final Fantasy and stuff. I kind of asked for that mainly because I've never played I've played Final Fantasy before. I played Final Fantasy 7, but I haven't played the other Final Fantasy games. And since I'm working on like a little bit, I'm not sure if you guys seen some of my characters before. Like my character Spice, she's an elf girl and stuff. Or my character Erica, she's an Oni. Or my Lamia, she's her name is Serena and stuff. I've been working on like these kind of like sort of D&D or like these sort of like JRPG type characters and stuff. So I kind of want like I need like a little bit more of a reference for the designs and stuff, and I think Final Fantasy might actually help me out in that regard. But that's just how I feel, and I definitely need to work more better on some guys' designs and stuff. But yeah, I mean, because girls is easy, like you gotta make them look sexy, attractive, cute, whatever. And girls kind of they like to style themselves. Guys, we're a little basic, a little generic. We like to wear like a t-shirt, some pants, maybe some shorts or whatever. Whatever. Yeah, but I can probably yeah, I need to work on the drip and all that. But yeah, let's see. Lucky to get cooler thing kinds of stuff. Yeah, got you. I hope you got some cool stuff too, Speed Sonic Star. But yeah, like so those are some of the things I got. I probably got some other stuff too, and then I also got some money, so that's always nice. I mean, speaking of which, actually, lucky for me, actually, like somebody gave me like $5 tip last week, well, or 2 weeks ago, because they like the way because I work at Dunkin' Donuts and stuff, and I usually make the sandwiches stuff. And this girl, she liked the way how I made her sandwiches, so she gave me just a $5 bill, just straight up. I was like, oh, thank you, you know. So I want to choose how I can like what I can spend that one on, for a special occasion. And then the day before because I'm actually currently I'm not at, usually I'm at North Carolina, but currently I'm at where I grew up at in Maryland and stuff. I'm over at my nana's house. My aunt's boyfriend kind of came over and stuff, so it's kind of like, um, the rooms are a little bit occupied and stuff. So I decided, all right, well, I could probably sleep downstairs and stuff. There's like a little room in the laundry room and stuff. So that's where I'm at. It's not actually half bad. Actually, no one's never actually like. Apparently, my aunt told me that no one's actually never slept down here before. So I was like, oh, really? Well, I'll be the first. So I got the little air mattress up and everything. You know how it is. So yeah, it's pretty roomy for me. And I got the little heater and stuff, so that helps because my nana's heat kind of went out. So that kind of sucked the first night when I was like, well, let me just get my jacket and just wear that, and let me get my the comforters or whatever that I had, and just like trying to warm up that way. I woke up. I wasn't sick, but I my nose was running like crazy. But if I haven't already said anything, yeah, I took a flight down here actually from North Carolina to Maryland. Shortest flight I've ever been on. I've been yeah, but this will be my fifth time riding on an airplane. I've been on a plane to what's his face to Jamaica. A roundabout like a round trip from North Carolina to Jamaica and back. So that's two. And then a couple of years ago, I was visiting my dad. He lives all the way in Arizona and stuff. So I headed down there to Arizona for the first time. Me and my dad, we chilled out, kicked it and everything. Hung out with some of his friends. We went to go see what's his face, the Grand Canyon actually. So that was pretty interesting. I took all these pictures and stuff. So it was pretty cool. Just me and him. And then I headed back. So that's like the fourth time I've flown on an airplane. So a couple of days ago, it was my fifth time riding an airplane and stuff. And it was probably the shortest because I've never had to like cross country. Well, I didn't cross country this time like I did to Arizona or Jamaica. So it was just like, oh, this is like an hour. This wasn't bad. I mean, the Wi-Fi I had to pay like $13 for the Wi-Fi and all that, but whatever. I have some money to spend, I guess. But yeah, so pretty interesting flight, and now I got to fly back on Sunday. So that's nice. That sounds fun. Yep, it definitely sounded fun. Same. Funny, my nose was itching and it turned red. Nice. Yeah, so that's what's going on right now. Um, so yeah, but me and my aunt's boyfriend we're gonna be flying back on Sunday and all that stuff. So yeah, at least I get the house to myself because my I and my cousin they're driving. They drove up. That's what I stay with, but they drove up and now they're about to drive back on like Tuesday. So at least I got the house to myself for at least a day or two. So that's always nice. So yeah, but if I hadn't said anything earlier, the reason why I haven't been doing some streams or recording a whole lot is because well, you could probably go to the beginning of the stream, but basically I had to switch up my whole dynamics. So yeah. And then yesterday, since it was Christmas and stuff, my nana she hosted a party over her house and stuff. That's where I'm at currently, like I said. So a lot of her cousins and stuff like that had came over, and we just chilled out, watched the game, football and stuff. The Commanders, Redskins, really, but versus the Cowboys, so that's always great. Uh, I'm not a huge football fan or anything, but I definitely remember that rivalry ever since I was a little kid, where it was always like, because I'm from DC, sort of. Um, so a lot of people are more supportive to us to like the Redskins more so than the Cowboys. So they're gonna be like, man, the Cowboys is trash and blah blah blah, And then you have the rarity where people would be like, the Cowboys and all that, yeah, etc. But anyways, so yeah, I'll have food and stuff. I'm kind of mad at one of my cousins though, Jimmy, because I'm like, bro, why didn't you not show up? Why does he always be at the last minute? Because he was like, he was supposed to be showing up, but he was like, oh, suddenly 15 minutes before he's supposed to leave or 5 minutes before you leave, oh man, I'm sick. I got a cold. I gotta stay home And this is like the third, fourth time in a row that this man has stayed home during a family gathering, and I barely like even see I haven't even really seen him in a minute. I'm like, dude, what is? Mm, I don't know. I don't know why he does it. But anyways, and then he got to work later on at the night on Christmas. I'm like, wow. Then his brother, my other cousin, he had to work for the most part of the party, so he wasn't there until like later on. But at least I got a chance to see him though, so that's something. Then he got a kid and stuff. It was nice seeing his son, his wife, stepson, etc. So, yeah, my little cousin is doing good for himself. What else is going on? Um, we also got our family dog here. Um, she's shedding like crazy, but she's cool with everybody and stuff. She's not completely acting up, so that's always nice. So yeah, that's pretty much what my Christmas and my Christmas party and my experience at this point has been like. Then I also had to visit some family friends and stuff earlier today. Played basketball with one of the kids and stuff. He beat me 34-24 and stuff. But hey, I had fun. I don't really play basketball like that, but it used to be one of my favorite sports back when I was a kid, though. But yeah. So what else do I want to talk about here today? If you guys have any questions and stuff, I should have also probably put Q&A. Then you guys can just tell me about that and the thing. Hmm. What else is going on? Hmm. I did see the season 2 of Tales of the TMNT though. I'm actually working on a review for it. I know Jay Leno had did a review on the series and stuff. And we kind of talked about it in DMs. I'll definitely give our full thoughts like that when we talk about it in that stream because he wants to do a stream, and I'm like, oh, okay, that would be cool. But I guess I can tell you a little bit of what I think about it. But a lot of the more deeper stuff I'm going to cover individually. I'll make it a little bit fun. So I'm gonna do like 4 different videos. I should have actually worked on that Raphael one. You know what I mean when I put it up, but I'm gonna put up one video and stuff. I have the footage and all that stuff for it, so I'm gonna definitely I should be working on that realistically or editing, like doing the edits and all that. But it is what it is. Um, but yeah, with Tales of TMNT, I gotta say they definitely improved a lot compared to like what I thought or what I thought this is going. But I'm like, all right, it's not half bad. I mean, it's still not really like the show is not really for me, but it's definitely a major improvement. It's kind of like like Masters of the Universe, the what was it, Revelations, and stuff. That thing that Kevin Smith did, where yeah, that show and stuff, and how like it was terrible for the first 2 seasons, and how all they did was just blatantly disrespect He-Man and try to promote Tila, and then I'm not sure if people know or paid attention enough, but there was a third season and stuff where it was called Master Universe Revolution, and that was so much more better and stuff. I mean, it didn't exactly save that the series, but still, it was actually kind of a solid arc though, where it actually did focus on He-Man. Tila was at least a little bit more likable, and they recasted the voice actress, which I can't believe that was actually Sarah Michelle Gellar that voiced her in the first part. I'm like, oh man. Um, but they just made her so annoying in that first 2 seasons. But hey, it is what it is. And then what happened in Revolution? But yeah, but Revolution, it was definitely a major improvement. But unfortunately, they dropped the ball, and that's how I feel with Tales of the TMNT, where it got off on a very bad start with the movie, and then the first season, and now the second season comes out, and it's semi decent, but then it's like, yeah, like okay, but it's kind of a little bit too late. You should have probably busted this stuff out during the first season, right? but it is what it is. What is your latest you've drawn or animated? That's actually a very good question. Speed Sonic Star. I was actually planning on, for the stream, but I didn't have enough time because I went over a friend, over a family friend's house. I was actually planning on doing a few drawings. I had this idea where I wanted to do like this Tails versus Infinite, like animation and stuff. I haven't really started yet. It's just been more of a concept idea that I have right now. But I need to like write out the idea, draw it out, and then like digitally like trace over it, and then I gotta like animate it and stuff together. That's what I definitely need to work on. I haven't really been working on my animations and stuff in a minute, not since that Superman animation that I put out, but still. But I think this one, well, fights are never really that easy to animate. I mean, it's easy to animate, but it's like, yeah, but it's got like, how animation works. Sometimes these things go on pretty long and stuff like that. You want the fights to drag on pretty long. So you got to find different moves or ways to like get a little creative and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how it is. But that was my idea though. Now I'm going to do Tails versus Infinite. I actually did do a drawing though of how I'm going to depict Tails and Infinite. I'm not sure if I posted it on DeviantArt, but I'm gonna go to that right now. Actually, I did post it on Instagram, but let's see if I posted it on DeviantArt. I'm pretty sure I did. No, I did not. But I guess I could. Actually, no, I did. I did. All right, let me go to this. And I'm gonna explain it while I as I show you guys this stuff. All right. As you can see, I've been doing some Yu-Gi-Oh drawings lately. I'm gonna explain that in a second, actually. So as you can see, this is my Super Tails drawing and stuff. I think, yep, right here, Adult Tails. So I kind of just did my own thing here, where obviously it's Boom Tails, but think of this as like Adult Tails or Tails a little bit more older and stuff because um, I don't know. It's just for a while. It just feels like I've been subconsciously neglecting Tails as a character and stuff, and I just want to like, do an animation and kind of give Tails some spotlight, like some well-deserved spotlight, where he's not just, oh well, he's just the sidekick to Sonic or he's the kid brother. Even though, yeah, that is kind of Tails' like sort of personality. Thank you, fierce, sympathetic Black Queen. Um, it is definitely some cool art. How did I feel about the My Hero Academia ending? I'm gonna tell you that about. Well, I'll tell you about that real quick. I have not finished the anime yet. I know, but I did. Trust me, I already. But mainly the reason why I haven't finished the anime is because I already know the ending. Because I already read the manga, like last year or 2 years ago, where like when it ended and stuff. So I already know what's to like. I already know what to expect, anyways. So I'm in like almost no hurry to finish the anime. But since it's nearing the end of the year and stuff, I figured, what, this can be like one of the last animes, that I like watch of the year and all that stuff. So that's what I'm working on. So right now, as far as the anime goes, I'm currently on that fight with Bakugo versus All for One. But yeah, like I said, I already know how it ends, and I already read the manga and stuff too. So the anime isn't really going to do anything for me, like to shock or surprise me or anything, because I already know. Except for like animate the fights and stuff. So yeah, same here. Yeah. Well, anyways, so this is my drawing of Tails and stuff. I decided, what? So this is how Tails is gonna look like. That I had in mind for like my animation and stuff. Where, yeah, I think the like Tails' boom outfit and his look from the 25 years later story or the 30 years later story arc from the Archie comics and stuff was definitely a good look for him. Where you kind of added some of these accessories like the tool belt, the wrench, the goggles and stuff. I feel like those were like nice touches for like Tails' like design to kind of make him look a little bit more older and stuff. And even the gloves too, I guess. So I decided, since Tails is obviously based off of like a Kasune kind of thing with the two tails and all that, and usually Kasune is supposed to like grow like more tails and stuff like that. I gave Tails 9 additional tails, because why not? Like that's supposed to be the thing. And then Super Tales, I plan to have that show up inside the animation and stuff because I was thinking about redesigning it with maybe a different color or something, but then just this looks like base Tails, but just he's a light yellow this time instead of an orange. But hey, it is what it is. Um, I really couldn't think of anything like another color, so I was like, all right, well, why not just go traditional, and just give them the extra tails like in the like the thing. So this is Super Tails, the red eyes, the goggles are even red and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have this be like a Super Tails versus Infinite thing. And the reason why I chose Infinite is because I feel like Infinite would be a perfect villain for Tails to go up against and stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna have Infinite probably unmasked. I probably should have him masked since there's more images of him more masked than unmasked. But um, he's still gonna have the Phantom Ruby abilities anyways. But he's gonna fight Tails and stuff like that. So you have the wolf. I mean, you have the fox versus the jackal. But you know how like Infinite, like his whole thing is fear, and then he scares and all that stuff. And I think, like I said, you'd be a perfect enemy for Tails and stuff. It's a shame that I know IDW they can't use Infinite right now because reasons Sega doesn't want to Sega doesn't want to like use them. So yeah, and I know like some of the writers do, but they're like, nah. Sega's like, nah, you can't use Infinite. I'm like, well, what are you guys gonna do with Infinite that IDW can't do with them? And it's like the same thing with the delays and stuff, which I kind of thought about making videos on talking about the whatchamacallit, the delays, but yeah, like IDW, like Sonic, I'm pretty sure a lot of us have noticed, but they've been doing a lot of delays on a lot of stuff, and I understand it's probably because they have to go through like some kind of like thing for like Sega and stuff, Sega of Japan to get approval, and then they can put out the comic and stuff like that. Um, so it's a lot. Like even this recent comic, the one of the comics was supposed to come out, not this current one that came out last week. I haven't read that yet either. I mean, I actually have the two before it, but I haven't really gotten around to reading it because I've been just like, I've been kind of losing a little interest right now on what's going on with the Sonic IDW comics. Yeah, I know they introduced a newer character, Lunar, who's like this little clown jester type character and all that, but I don't know. I'm just like, yeah, cool design, but I'm just like, I don't know if like this there's a really strong story behind it for right now, but yeah, and then Eggman shows up and does whatever, and then everybody just works together to beat him. So I don't know. But yeah, but Sage is coming back, and that comic that was supposed to be coming out in January just got postponed to February. So that's just great. But hey, it is what it is. But hey, at least that comic will definitely take place after Frontiers, so it'll be the first official comic to actually be caught up, after Sonic Frontiers and stuff. So I did some drawings, obviously, of Sonic the Werehog. This is to celebrate. And I know I'm a little bit late on the date, but pretty much, it was the anniversary of Sonic Unleashed. I think this is the 15th anniversary of Sonic Rush. So I saw that there was an old design of Blaze that somebody had, so I decided to just draw it. That definitely got 20 favorites. That's pretty cool. Teen Chaotix. I was also pretty late on this too, a little bit as you can see, but I wanted to keep it all in the same month, so I did a drawing of Team Chaotix and stuff for their 30th anniversary. I actually did have an idea of doing an SBO versus Sting Chameleon fan animation and stuff, and that is still on the table. Don't get me wrong, but which I do want to do, but like I said, fights definitely do take a while. Let me read some of these comments. Same here. Oh, that's classic Tales reference, Bose. Exactly. I see you. Yep. So as you can see, I've been doing some Yu-Gi-Oh drawings and stuff. Um, not because of the Yu-Gi-Oh like versus Pokemon, the Yugi Moto versus Ash Ketchum Death Battle. Actually, even before that Death Battle came out, I was actually I decided, you know what, let me rewatch Yu-Gi-Oh, or not even rewatch. Let me finish watching Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds because a long time ago, Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds used to come on when I was a kid and stuff. And I watched it up until a certain point, and then they actually canceled the show So the final season was never aired for Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, which was unfortunate. So it's online, of course, the Japanese version and all that, but they never had an English translation for it or anything, which I'm fine with. I mean, well, sort of, because you know how Yu-Gi-Oh is sometimes when it comes to like English localization. It's not like the voice acting is bad, but they do like for kids. They used to do a lot of crazy edits and stuff and change up the story, which was like one of the turnoffs of it. But hey, it was still enjoyable to watch, anyways. But yeah, I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. And like I said, I already finished it up, so that was really awesome. So I drew some characters like you got Yusei right here, Jack, Jack Atlas. Yusei's rival, and he's his older adopted brother, Akiza. I'm definitely gonna be talking like doing some videos talking about some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Well, not too crazy or not too in depth, but just yeah, I think it would be a little bit fun to do a little character breakdown. Crow, right here. I mean, I say Yusei and Jack's like their other brother and stuff. There's Lua or Leo or Luca, depends on your translation. Because in the English they call him Luca with a K and stuff, or Leo as his nickname in the English version. But it's Lua, Lua, in the Japanese version. So yeah, Lua, and then Luca right here, or Luna inside the English dub. So Luca with a C, the twins and stuff, and her Karibo or Kari. Well, I don't know. And then there's Yugi right here and stuff, because I watched that Bonds Beyond Time movie. I had to watch it. How can I not watch it? It's been a long time since I watched it, but I had to watch it and stuff. That Bonds Beyond Time movie is just so, oh my god, like, bro, when I tell you, like, if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh fan and you like just seeing Yugi, Jaden, Yusei all in the same room and stuff together, just dueling against Paradox, my god, oh my god, I love it. So that was awesome seeing the three of them to get together. I'm like, man, Yu-Gi-Oh needs to do more of these. And honestly, speaking of that, they had an idea originally where they were supposed to be doing. They were supposed to do a crossover between the original Yu-Gi-Oh and Yu-Gi-Oh GX, but they never got around to doing it, and decided, you know what, let's save it for Bonds Beyond Time. But you could actually still do that though, where Yugi and his friends take a field trip, or not Yugi and his friends, but Yugi, like Jaden and all of them, they take like a field trip or something to like Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I don't know, that would be pretty awesome though. Like to have that as some kind of event movie, in the like Yugi and Jaden team up or something. But hey, it is what it is. And then this my tail is drawing and all that Sonic stuff. Yusei on his dual runner and stuff, Akira style. And then Yusei with the dual disc. This is the first time I drew Yusei with a marker, because as you can see here, I didn't draw him with the marker because this is like before he got it, and then this is when he got it. So yeah. But if you want to see more of my artwork, it's at the Kage Level Fox. Which, speaking of which, I'm actually thinking about changing my name now to Kage Level Fox going into the new year, and I might change my profile pic too. But I haven't did a design yet though. But yeah, so I'm going to get used to saying Kage Level Fox. I know a lot of my friends are used to saying Jonin Level Fox and stuff, but I'm glad to yeah, but I don't mind if you call me Jonin or Kage or Fox or whatever. It's all the same to me. But anyways, I always wanted to draw an SPO, but never did. Well, it's never too late. It's never too late to draw SPO. SPO is definitely a cool character and stuff, so I'm just saying, yeah, like he is a cool character. I'm like, yeah. I wish Sega can definitely do more with SPO, because I've barely played as SPO in any games. Like the only game I really played as SPO in is Sonic Heroes, and that's it. Like I know SPO's in like 2 other games. He's in Knuckles Chaotix, which to this day I've never played. That was an L move that Sonic Origins never had Knuckles Chaotix on there. I'm like, even when they did that DLC Sonic Plus thing, they never put Knuckles Chaotix on there. I'm like, man, are you guys crazy? So yeah, there's that, and I know he's on Sonic Rivals, which is on I think the PSP. So, and I never had a PSP, so yeah. So I would have to get one, and then I would have to get Sonic Rivals 1 and 2 to play as SPO as well on that, and Silver, which there's only been one game I've even played Silver as. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm talking about like party games don't work. They don't count either. Like, oh, Sonic and Mario, the Olympics or the racing games and stuff, they don't count. I'm talking about like straight up, just like as this character on the platform and stuff like that. Yeah, it's been a long time, or rarely. But anyways, that's my artwork so far. Yeah, I did play some Metal Gear Solid, so that was pretty nice. Well, or actually, I beat it before I came down here. Actually, it was pretty fun playing Metal Gear Solid and stuff. Playing Solid Snake. And I'm talking about like the original Metal Gear Solid, like the PS1 one and stuff. That was pretty fun. So I'm definitely getting a lot of recommendations on YouTube about Metal Gear Solid stuff, which is definitely a better trade up than getting a lot of this political stuff or whatever. Um, yeah, just like or this culture war stuff, like flooding up my timeline and always just being like a recommendation for me and stuff. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, I also saw Boys in the Hood the other day. Yeah, instead of a Christmas movie, I decided just to watch Boys in the Hood for the first time and stuff. That was definitely something. Really great movie and a really great message, and probably something that a lot of people probably need to watch or just Um, but it really says a lot. Hmm. I've also been watching. Hey, how's it going? I was kind of busy with the final assignments right now. Dang, well, I'm not sure if they got Christmas for your Ashes, but yeah, Merry Christmas and all that. How's it going? I hope your final assignment is working out pretty well. But yeah, I was gonna say like not talking about much. Just talked about what I had gotten for Christmas. Talking about like my experience up here and stuff, and what's been going on. That kind of thing. If you want to hear the full story, you can always head back and just check out the beginning parts, Ashes. But yeah, but anyways, I've been also watching some Dragon Ball Z and stuff. I've been buying some of the box sets and everything to rewatch Dragon Ball Z since it's been a while. And I know I could probably just watch some of this stuff online, to be honest. But I was like, you know what? Let me get some of this stuff on DVD and stuff and rewatch it and everything. I know it's been a long, long time since I've like watched Dragon Ball Z or revisit some of these arcs and stuff, like the Saiyan saga and stuff that I watched earlier this year around my birthday. And I just actually started rewatching the Namek saga, so this is pretty fun. And I also got the Frieza saga as well on DVD, so there's that too. And then outside of Dragon Ball Z, I got the full complete series of Sonic Underground. Um, because why not? Why not get the full complete series of Sonic Underground? So I watched some episodes of that. It's pretty nice. Ashes, I know you've been wanting me to do some topics or some videos on Sonic Underground for quite a while. It might happen. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I'm enjoying watching it though. I mean, I got no qualms against Sonic Underground or anything. And then what else? And I also got the full complete series of Ninja Turtles, the 1987 on DVD as well. I was definitely taking advantage of that Black Friday deal. Trust me, I definitely was. Been rewatching Superman the animated series and just like Lobo definitely needs his solo movie. Um, it can work out. I'm not saying I'm crazy about because I'm not super crazy about Lobo like that, but yeah, he could definitely do his own movie and stuff. I mean, if the Mask can get his own movie, Lobo can probably get his own movie too and stuff. People would definitely like that. But for me though, it's just like more so I want to focus on like heroes and stuff, and just going up against the villain and just telling the story in between all that. Lobo's going to be like kind of just he's going to be a wild card and stuff. He's going to be like you know. Whereas I just feel like Lobo is just he can be used as like not a not a primary antagonist, but kind of like because Lobo is supposed to be like a bounty hunter or assassin and all that, so he's just hired help and stuff. So I think that's kind of more his speed than you know, than just being like yeah. But yeah, but Lobo, yeah, and plus Lobo definitely has had his own comic book lines too, so it's not impossible. It can definitely work out. And then I know you guys know my reaction on the Street Fighter movie and stuff. I'm still looking forward to it. Definitely one of the stuff I've been anticipating, looking forward to for a while. I've been seeing some people kind of like talk crap about the Street Fighter movie and stuff that's coming out. Oh, it's Hollywoodified, it's blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm definitely looking forward to it at least. And then I saw some people like, and as much as I respect Tyrone Magnus and I think he's pretty cool, even he was like crapping on it a little bit too much in my opinion, especially like when he was like, "Where is Sagat? There is no Sagat here." And then and a lot of other people were like, "Oh my God, there's no Sagat," and I'm just like, and then I think even some person said that not having Sagat, who, if you don't know your Street Fighter stuff, Sagat is like the first boss of Street Fighter. Not having Sagat in the movie is like not having is like Darth Vader not being inside Star Wars, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Darth Vader is like very important to Star Wars and stuff. I wouldn't really say Sagat's importance is that much on like is that much on Street Fighter as far as he needs to be in every single game or something, or every single movie. Because even inside like Street Fighter animated movie and stuff, Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, Sagat was only in the beginning, the intro part where he fought Ryu, and then he's kind of gone throughout the rest of the movie, and it just mentioned in passing or whatever. So I wouldn't be like, oh my god, you know. So I'm just saying, like I feel like people are just overreacting in my opinion. Plus, there's plenty of other characters inside Street Fighter 2 that isn't even in the movie that people haven't talked about, like T Hawk and stuff. I didn't see anybody for T Hawk, no Fei Long, like none of that stuff. Okay. And yes, Sagat's one of those characters too that's not in there, or even DJ. Like DJ's not even in the movie as well. But the thing is with that is like, look, there's a lot of characters you would have to juggle and stuff, and a lot of stories that would have to be told. I'm perfectly fine with like Sagat, if he comes in, like if they make it to a second movie, I'm perfectly fine or at content with that. But yeah, it's kind of like it's not like it's not as egregious as like the Mortal Kombat thing with the Johnny Cage thing where they were like, oh well, it doesn't make sense for Johnny Cage to be in here, but we're going to introduce Cole Young, a made up OC character, because we want an Asian character or something like that to or a half Asian guy to represent. Even though the actor is all right, but the problem was it was just most of the character and the conception itself was like, why did you create this character to in favor of like snubbing Johnny Cage? Like I don't get that. But now they're putting Johnny Cage in the movie and stuff, which I mean I thought the trailer for the second movie looked all right and stuff, but I'm just like, but the guy Carl Urban doesn't look anything like Johnny Cage, or he doesn't. I mean, I believe in his acting prowess, but I'm just like, but he's not going to be able to do the moves and stuff like that like Johnny Cage, because Johnny Cage is the like, no, I wouldn't say the central protagonist of Mortal Kombat, but he's the first Mortal Kombat character that was created that started this whole thing in the first place. Because Mortal Kombat is supposed to be based off of blood sport, you know. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. That's probably a different conversation. But I'm just saying, like, that's kind of the kind of guy you need, like a John Claude Van Damme impersonator or something to play Johnny Cage or whatever. Than just Carl Urban, a guy who I don't even think he's like really a martial artist like that, but he's a good, a good actor though. But okay, I think Lobo needs that type of movie, like a Bebop and Rocksteady IDW miniseries where they just cause chaos for fun. I mean, it'd be nice, I guess, but you gotta need somebody like for Lobo to kind of go up against. I don't read Lobo's comics like that, so I don't know who he can per se fight or go up against like that. Um, Probably like some, I don't know, alien crime lord or something like that, or warlord or whatever. I don't know, but yeah. And the thing is, like, will Hollywood actually like, will they try to make Lobo sympathetic, or would they just like, actually go all out and make him, like how he's supposed to be or like Lobo's a womanizer. He's a biker and stuff. He's very vulgar. Says and does whatever he wants. Not he's not very PC, that kind of thing. I mean, I know he's going to be showing up inside that new Supergirl movie, which I'm not really looking forward to that new Supergirl movie. I mean, you guys already know how I feel about that Superman movie and stuff like that, and what I've said about that. So the Supergirl movie, I said what I said that I'm not really interested in watching it, so I'm not going to watch it in theaters. When it goes to HBO Max, just like how Superman was HBO Max, like literally a month after it came out, then yeah, sure, I'll probably check it out then. But in the meantime, I'm not really interested in watching the new Supergirl movie. It looks generic. It looks very, I don't know, lazy. Just Supergirl doesn't look appealing. Like it's like, all right, you guys are no, like just no. And they're talking about like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that, and I'm just like, oh my god, can we please get away from Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, I understand people like that first movie, but I think people like that first movie a little bit too much because that movie to me it was just overrated. Like, I mean, I was like, yeah, it was an okay movie, it was mid, but and it had some nice moments, I guess. But Guardians of the Galaxy is not a movie I would like go back and rewatch over and over again because I haven't. I only saw the movie once, and I was like, yeah, it was all right, and I kept it moving. And then the second and third movie wasn't all that cracked up to be. I mean, the second one, yeah, it wasn't really that great. I mean, at first I saw it, I was like, yeah, whatever, I guess. And then after thinking about it, I was like, you know what? That movie was pretty bad, wasn't it? And that third movie dragged on way too long. But people, were hyped about it. Was like, oh my god, this is a good superhero movie. This is going back on track. I only think people like the few scenes because I mean, some of that stuff about Warlock was terrible, like, etc. It was not a good movie. At least we have JoJo to wait for. Yeah, at least we do have JoJo. I hate to burst your bubble, Ashes. I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna be watching Steel Ball Run myself personally. I have read the manga, so I know what happens in Steel Ball Run. At least I will say that. Say that much. You know, but I'm just like I'm not interested in watching the anime itself. Even though I did watch Stone Ocean, but again, I already read the manga ahead of time, and I'm just like, yeah. But that's not me saying that it's not bad though. I'm pretty sure it's definitely going to be good. Especially you got like Diego, you got Gyro, Isabelli, you got Johnny Joestar and stuff. You got all that stuff going on, and you even got Funny Valentine coming. So I'll definitely check out some of the clips online. But I'm probably not going to like watch the full series like that right now. So, but yeah, but that's how I personally feel about JoJo and stuff. And right now, I think JoJo's on like what part 9. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. So right now in the anime, they're on part 7. They just finished up part 8 a few years ago with JoJo Ling, where it was about Josuke Higashikata or Josuke 8, or yeah, who's like a fusion of Josuke and Yoshikage Kira in this alternate reality and all this other stuff. So yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Stuff with JoJo, pretty much. I'm not really all that cut with the manga itself. I was kind of on part 8 and just left it at that. But yeah. But as I was saying though with the Street Fighter thing, so yeah, like Sagat, I don't think Sagat's really that like that that like important where yeah, you can still have a Street Fighter story or a Street Fighter game and not have Sagat in there. And this is coming from somebody that actually does main Sagat because Sagat is one of my mains and stuff from Street Fighter. And stuff like my mains in Street Fighter would be like um I would say the basic would be like of course Ryu, Sagat. Sagat plays just like Ryu, but he's just much more bigger. And his attacks are like, yeah, they hit. And then so Ryu and Sagat, my other mains would be like Chun Li, Elena, and stuff. I love me some Chun Li, and then Elena and stuff. How can I not? I usually for me, I like characters that can like really kick good and stuff, or that does kicks a lot. And Elena's attacks are nothing but kicks because she does capoeira, which this is the first time I actually ever heard of capoeira. When I learned about Elena, I was like, capo what? And then I was like, Okay, that's a pretty interesting fighting style. Um, but yeah, so but Elena is one of my mains. So Chun Li, Elena, Sagat, Ryu, Ibuki, as well the Ninja Girl. I like playing as Ibuki. Um, and yeah, I mean I know how to play as other Street Fighter characters too. Like Guile, for example. I wouldn't say Guile is like my main, but I know how to play as Guile. Ken to an extent, even though I don't really use Ken like that or Akuma. Um, I'm more content with just using Ryu, who's a little bit more basic. But yeah, but if you guys have any Street Fighter mains, let me know. What else Street Fighter mains do I got? I guess I like using Juri Han a little bit too, mainly because Juri does Taekwondo, and I used to practice Taekwondo when I was like back in my little like my little aftercare program and stuff. Yeah, Taekwondo was pretty fun. And definitely some good times. Definitely have some fond memories. I wish we got some kind of Cold War anime if the current politics was more peaceful. To see Space Race and JoJo like style would be fun. Yeah, maybe David Productions might got something. And as far as the Cold War goes, I don't know if they have like yeah. I'm pretty sure they might have stuff based off of that. I mean, we already know there's plenty of animes that got wars and stuff in it, so that's no surprise. Like, well, a lot of it will be sci-fi or just yeah, regular stuff. But yeah, as far as um, what else is going on? I already mentioned before that I've seen Zootopia 2. Great movie, love it and stuff. Yeah, some of my favorite movies this year so far. The Sinners, Zootopia 2, The Bad Guys 2, which I haven't said I watched The Bad Guys 2, but I actually enjoyed The Bad Guys 2. I thought it was a pretty good movie and stuff. So that's three so far. I have not seen The Accountant 2 or The Accountant, but I need to watch it. Uh, a few days ago, I actually did watch Wicked for the first time, not the second movie, but the first one and stuff. My family saw it, but I was like, well, I'll watch it eventually, I guess. But since it was such a big deal that everybody was talking about Wicked and stuff like that, I was like, all right, well, maybe I need to get on it too. So I'm gonna watch the second movie in theaters at some point. Hopefully before the year ends and all that. I like to do all this stuff a little bit, you know, a little bit wrapped up in a bow before the year ends and all that. So I'm gonna definitely try to watch Wicked too before the end of the year, but I need to find the time. And then the same thing with Avatar 3, which I have not watched yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I know a lot of people be like hating on Avatar 3 and stuff or hating on Avatar in general, which is weird to me because I'm just like, because I was like, I'm like when Avatar came out, I was like, whatever. It was a nice movie and stuff. And then the second movie came out, and I was like, wait. Avatar is back? I was like, all right, fine. I definitely gotta see what this is about. And then it was really good, and I was like, okay, I like it. And then this third movie is out, and I don't know, I'm hearing some mixed receptions and stuff. I feel like it's just people just trying to like be petty and trying to crap on Avatar 3, and some be like, oh, see, it's not as good as the first and second one, and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's that's great and all, but I'm like, okay, but can we at least wait until like the box office and all that stuff is like out before we're like, oh look, the opening night is terrible. It's like, come on, bro. But anyways, I've been buying some of the comics and stuff from Avatar. I got one, and I kind of had the second issue of the recent comic in a pull list. So there's that. But yeah. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Thinking about video games and stuff. Speaking of Avatar, not a fan of how obviously there's a time skip and Aang is older in season two. But I hope Netflix won't assassinate Toph's character too bad. Oh, you're talking about the new live action Avatar. To be honest with you, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna even watch it, to be honest. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Avatar is a bad series or anything. I do like Avatar, and you know how much I'm pretty sure you guys have heard me on the record say that I actually do like Legends of Korra, and you heard me defend Legends of Korra and stuff. Yes, I know the writing's not perfect, and I don't agree with Korra being changed at the last minute to be bisexual or whatever, and to be with Osami. That was kind of like, okay, you guys were just doing whatever at that point. That was very lazy. Not even gonna lie. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. But other than that, though, I think Korra was okay. Character and the show. That's just me personally. But but the series has been kind of like hit or miss. Like some of the comics and stuff, it's been like hit or miss. It's not really doing anything for me. The novels, nah, not so good. And then they're trying to do all this uh, identity politics stuff with Avatar, which isn't working out. After the ending with Korra and everything, and they've been trying to incorporate that in the comics, blah blah blah. Anyways, going back to what you were saying about the live action Avatar, um, it's probably because the whole actor and stuff. He got a little older, so they're gonna try and play it off and be like, "Oh, he's probably still 12 or something, or he's a little bit older." I don't know, but yeah, let's just say Netflix Avatar is obviously better than the 2010 dog shit movie, but OG series will always be peak. Yeah, yeah, well, and I mean, yeah, I mean that's no question about that. Anything would be better than on the M Night Shyamalan movie because the fight choreography and that was bad. The CGI was bad. The acting was just dry as hell. Like there's a lot of stuff that was wrong about the M Night Shyamalan movie and stuff. Like I said, I mean I respect M Night Shyamalan because he got into it because his daughter admired Katara a lot. That she dressed up as Katara, and he was like, you know what? I want to make a movie about Avatar and stuff. And so I respect that, but as far as the execution goes, yeah, that wasn't it, Chief. So yeah, the Netflix is way better, but it's kind of like, uh, um, I would also say that the live action Avatar movie is also kind of a little bit of a hit or miss too, in my opinion. You know, but it is what it is. Um, who knows? I don't think they can really assassinate Toph's character. Who knows? They might. Um, Sometimes I think with the reason why people aren't so receptive to Korra like that is probably because the writers like Toph and Katara a little bit too much. That they try to incorporate both of Katara and Toph's character traits into Korra and stuff, and try to give her like the same kind of vibe or feeling, and then bam, that's kind of a little bit of one of the reasons why people don't like Korra, apart from like some of the decisions that she's kind of made. But yeah, imagine if he did Korra movie like Nostalgia Critic was joking about in his review, a Korra movie. I mean, I guess I don't know. Oh god, you're talking about like if M Night Shyamalan did a Legends of Korra movie. Ooh man, he would definitely destroy the Legends of Korra series if he did that or whatever credibility. I know more people will try and point fingers and be like, "Oh look, Legends of Korra is trash and stuff," and they'll definitely be pulling up that M Night Shyamalan movie. But I'm like, I mean, I'd rather watch the Legend of Korra, the show, before I watch the M Night Shyamalan movie, though. To be honest, and that's with the Last Airbender. But hey, they at least made it past that one to get to Toph in season 2 at least, and Ba Sing Se and stuff because obviously it was supposed to have a sequel, and they cut the Kyoshi Warriors because it was like a time constraint kind of thing, etc. But yeah. So, you guys got any other questions you want to ask me? I'm just chilling. I'm thinking about possibly ending the stream in a couple of minutes. Who knows? But yeah. I guess I can end off on this real quick. I can show you guys something. I'm not really doing anything super important right now. Sonic versus it's currently 11:36 where I'm at, so it's almost midnight. and my computer's only 17%, and it's got an hour and 23 minutes left of power. So that's just great. But oh well, I can charge it up later or something. Guess you won't even bother checking out season 2 of Tales, right? You kind of missed it earlier, Ashes. I actually did talk a little bit about it, not too much, but yeah, I did actually watch Tales of TMNT season 2, and I definitely will be talking about it in some videos and stuff. I got 4, maybe 5 videos planned on it, and I might even do a stream with Jay Leno where me and possibly Torvik will probably talk about Tales, I guess. But yeah, what do I think about it? I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it is an improvement. I'm gonna say that much. It's still not really for me, but it's definitely a major improvement. And I feel like they definitely had stronger storylines this time around compared to before. And I was kind of comparing it to like Masters of the Universe Revolution and Revelations, or actually no, Revelations. That's the thing by Kevin Smith, and then Revolutions like season 3. That's what it comes off to me, where it was like, okay, this is actually a lot more better in that 3rd season, but it feels a little bit too late because you guys dicked around and you found out the hard way when you bait and switched everybody for Tila and you disrespected He-Man like 2 to 3 times in his own show. Like how do you kill He-Man in the first episode and then you bring him back and then you almost kill him off again for shock value, and then you have He-Man turn into some hulking monster, Savage He-Man, and then he gets beaten up or whatever, taken down by like his dad's kingdom and everything. Like, yeah, I wasn't feeling it. And then you had in the ending where He-Man gets cut, him and Skeletor get cut by Teela and Evil Lyn, where He-Man is like, "This isn't about us." Really? So I showed up for the show to see Teela and Evil Lyn's rivalry, not the rivalry between He-Man and Skeletor. Really? But anyway, sorry, I'm branching off. My point is, yeah, I did see Tales of the TMNT season 2, and it's an improvement. That's pretty much about it. I definitely got more to say in some of those videos, so look forward to that. Not a whole lot, but Excuse me. Using the Chaos Emerald, Sonic managed to escape. I saw this on my other account. The room was speared in time. Thankfully, he wasn't trapped or betrayed. He teleported a little too far onto the beach. The Sailor Senshi, or the Sailor Guardian, Sailor Scouts, whatever you want to call them, were relaxing at Ami and Usagi-chan. Were also fighting SpongeBob. Okay, that's random. At daytime, SpongeBob has returned to the Bikini Bottom for work, not because he can't breathe on land or anything like that. It looks like Minako Chan noticed Sonic in his cool as hell shoes. She wants to play Venus Star Power Make Up. You know how if you watch the Sailor Moon. Go Sonic, go Minako. Let's play some volleyball. So it's got over 20 years. Then Sailor Mars. You got Chibi Usa, Sailor Chibi Moon or Sailor Mini Moon, whichever you want to call her. This is Sailor Saturn right here. Hello, friend. Haruka and Michiru, Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune, Sailor Pluto, Setsuna. There's Kami and Makoto. I'm not gonna lie though, Makoto used to be my favorite Sailor Guardian. She still is one of them, but I gotta say, like, Minako's probably my favorite Sailor Moon character. Crazy how she was supposed to be the actual Sailor Moon, but then they snubbed her. I like how they were able to use her. It's like doing the after image. Venus, love me, Ching. Okay, so it's like that, huh? That's it, dude. Light speed shoes.
At top speeds, the outside world whizzes past you. Using your skill and special techniques, push yourself to the limit.
Excalibur Sonic. Okay, Sonic. Yeah, forget the arm, man. I'm joining this straight up. Who needs armor when you got Hypersonic? I'm just gonna subscribe to it because I saw this on my other channel, man. Sonic, Sailor Moon, and then there's the Sailor Guardians.
What you want to do is save hundreds with Liberty Mutual customizes
All right,
your car
let's check the
insurance.
comments.
That's great, but can you ask your...
Oops, I'm messing up. All right, pretty surprised how everyone is crazy about Crossworlds. Yeah, speaking of which, I do need to probably get Crossworlds. One of my cousins actually the other day, DJ, he was like talking about he wants to get the Switch 2. I'm like, Switch 2? Why would I want to get that? The games are overpriced and stuff, man. I'm like, you gotta have some buku cash for that one, man. But nah, I'm good. But Crossworlds though, yeah. I did say I might actually get it if they put Tangle and Whisper or some IDW carries on there, and they finally did. I wish they had voice actors though for them. That would definitely go a long way, but it is what it is. We need that, but with Sailor Moon against Sally's Sailor Moon form from Archie. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Ashes. That one time where they did like Sally Moon and Sailor Amy or something, and then there was Knuckles as like Tuxedo Mask, or what was it, Tuxedo Knuckles or something. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen it before. But yeah. But anyways, that's all I gotta say here on the stream. Thank you guys for showing up, showing out and stuff. I hope you guys have a happy holidays. Ashes, I hope you do well. excuse me, on your final assignment and all that. Thank you, Speed, Sonic Star, and Fierce Empathetic Black Queen, Taylor, for showing up. I really appreciate it and stuff. Speed, Sonic Star, you just showed up back in time for me to end the stream. But thank you again for showing up and everything. And yeah, happy holidays. This is John Low Fox. I'm out. Peace. And until we meet again. And hopefully I'll do another stream soon. And that will be like a drawing stream where I'm like, you guys can actually see me doing the animating and all that stuff. Probably before the end of this year. So give me a couple of days. All right. I'm out for real this time. I'll see you guys.